Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks.
What up, y'all? Tone Talks in here. We are doing a special show tonight. We gonna do the end of Black celebrity. You know, I talked about it before, maybe about a year and a half ago. We here now. I don't think we understand that everything that we thought, everything that we believed that Black celebrity meant that Black wealth had arrived, it's kind of over. I don't wish it to be over, but we got to start looking at the signals. The smoke signals is up. What we gonna do when Jay-Z show up at the SEC? What we gonna do when they take Bill Cosby away in them cuffs? Are we ready? That's what this show is, the end of Black celebrity. You know, Black celebrity burst on the scenes with Motown, but when the 80s hit, we had Michael Jackson's moonwalking in the white homes. We had the Cosby Show showing us everything that Black families could be. Come on. We had rap bust on the scene. I mean, the hood on MTV? Impossible. The end of Black celebrity. Let me say it again. Y'all gonna be wondering why Tone got shades on incognito today. You know, this one might get me in trouble. I just came from the Zoe Williams show. Shout out to the Zoe Williams show and everybody else. Mimi, Tiff, Peaches. We was doing the show down there on divorce. I had to hide out. Now I'm up here doing a show on the end of Black celebrity. I know y'all need it. I know it make y'all feel like we are somebody. But I'm here to talk about the reality of what we seeing in the news. What we seeing with all these millions of dollars in tax debt. Kanye flipping out. You know, I didn't even touch on Kanye. And Kanye coming around talking about slavery was a choice and showing us this mountain. Y'all believe that was something, that mountain with grass on it? Y'all believe that he gonna make that into the Walt Disney of houses? I'm just telling you, I don't believe nothing that man said. He could build a house. Show me the inside. I still don't believe he got a house. But look, we gonna do this show tonight. You know, I'm gonna be taking callers. I didn't take you last week. Please, thank you for supporting the Issa Rae show. Please share this video all around. Use the tonetalks.org page to get to my news articles. I just did a new piece on Newsmax today on Kanye, Donald Glover, and the Decadent Veil, kind of explaining it. As you guys know, part of the backdrop of this whole discussion is something I've been talking about for 3 to 5 years called the Decadent Veil, Black celebrity as a wealth illusion. I believe fundamentally Black celebrity creates a narrative where Black folks can't see themselves. Black America can't see itself, and white America believes we okay. I think when I look at This Is America, Donald Glover's video, that's what he was kind of playing on. This idea that we here to entertain and dance and move around while our neighborhoods are on fire, while economically we have no wealth. And what I want to do is be able to make sure that we dig a little deeper, that we ask the hard questions. Do these people even have bread? Does Jay-Z, is he ducking the SEC for a reason? We gonna get into it today. You know, I look over, let's just run down a few of them. You got Jay-Z with the SEC, the owing the $300,000 to the lawyers that set up Tidal, and then messing with the streaming numbers. We're going to get into that. You got Puff Daddy. He had to let off 1/3 of the Revolt staff. You know, he announced this as a TV station and Black folks has arrived. Now he done let go 1/3 of the staff. I think he hired like an Indian woman as the CEO to do it. You got T.I. His restaurant closed because it didn't have $5,000 supposedly. And then you got his tax bill. We're going to get into that. You got Bill Cosby. We no longer have to say accused. He was convicted of sexual harassment of some form. And then you got R. Kelly supposedly, keeping these women as sex slaves. Come on. We got Lil Kim sold her mansion for $100. Just last week, we was looking at Instagram pictures of her showing off her kid playing in the backyard. We got to stop looking at that Instagram and thinking that that's life. These people got real issues. I'm just saying, you got Mary J. Blige with debt issues. All over the place, what you see. And let's not forget Kanye West. Kanye brought Charlemagne out, walked him on this mountain. And y'all, so many people was like, ooh, that mountain looks nice. For white folks, that was a bunch of grass. That man ain't gonna change that into no amusement park or whatever he was talking about, 5 homes. He said he gonna be the Walt Disney of home ownership. Man, if you don't sit that man down and tell him how you gonna make a shoe, bro? How you gonna make a profitable clothing line? Because we gonna get into the whole backdrop. Vanity Fair did a great piece explaining his debt. You know, where we're at right now is what I like to call the end of a cycle. Black celebrity rose and it filled all of our ideas with the potential of Black America. You look over at the Met Gala. How many of y'all watched the Met Gala? I mean, we sat up and watched these people. It felt like Black people like 40% of the money in America based on the Met Gala. I ain't see no Asians. I ain't see really no Latinos. You know, you got Jennifer Lopez, but I think she Puerto Rican. You just seen 40% Black people, 60% white people, and they made sure that the Black people were all over the news. How can we do any politics, any wealth building, when they keep drilling everybody in the head that Black folks have wealthy celebrities? When Black folks themselves keep on digesting it that way. I gave y'all the numbers before, and I hate to be a little redundant. We don't have millionaires in this country like that, Black folks. Almost all the millionaires in this country are white. 83 million white homes. 83 million white homes. 13 to 14 million are worth more than $1 million. Come on. 20 million Black homes. Only 350,000 are worth more than $1 million. Most of them at 1.1, 1.2. Boomers, retirement pension included. How did this idea that we had arrived get stuck in our head? And we got to ask that question. We got to push the narrative. Again, this is Dash Radio. Press the Dash Talk app. You can also catch this streaming live on YouTube. Please, thank you. Shout out to Crystal Clear 1000. Thank you so much for the donation. You can use the super chat. I'm going to open the lines up in a second. Please feel free to call in 323-879-4445 to give your opinion on this. But while I'm going through this, I'm going to start talking about the backdrop. You know, we did a report. We talked about that report in the last few weeks to kind of like drill it in. But myth 9, the millionaire, you know, the role of Black celebrity is so important. And in myth 9, what we kind of deal with is this false narrative of a Black celebrity that had allowed us to arrive, and we had money too. But the reality is that we don't. The reality is, I don't even know if they do, based on what we're starting to see. We seeing a bunch of Black celebrities struggling with the whole pressure to be a Black celebrity. You know, you look over at T.I. Let's look at T.I. Rapper T.I. pays $1.4 million in taxes, but owes millions more. Let me read this out loud. T.I. handed over millions to Uncle Sam, but he isn't in the clear yet. Tiny is reportedly now free of tax debt, but T.I. still owes $3.2 million for 2013 earnings and $1.6 million for 2014. He owed a total of $6.2 million in back taxes. Let's take the first caller of the night. This is crazy. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Vaughn from Detroit.
What up, Vaughn?
Hey, listen. How's it doing, man? Hey, check this out. You know, we are, as a people, have a copenism. The copenism, we don't face reality. Our reality is too difficult for a good portion of us. A lot of us, well, not a lot of us, a lot of folks ain't strong enough to handle reality to where it is, to where they need to build. You know, if you down, I mean, look at the Jews. They know they were rock bottom down. They went over to Israel. They knew they had to fight to keep their company. They had to wait a generation to build it. They put that work into it. We ain't built like that because a lot of us.
When you say we, or who you talking to? Who you talking about?
Black folks. Okay, Native blacks. They had that copenism, and they will always know that there will be a white man support to prevent them from hitting rock bottom. And if you take that away from them, then we can probably see some changes, because a lot of those folks who look for that white man support will fall off. Then you start getting the cream of the crop, who's going to build. But until then, as long as there's that white man support, I don't see no changes.
Oh, thank you so much for giving us your voice. I'm gonna answer you off. I'm gonna answer you offline. This is the thing. Let me say this before I dig into this section. We were slaves here. Now that don't mean that we stayed slaves, but fundamentally there were only two races. I think one of the things we tend to do is compare ourselves to ethnicities and say what they do. Well, they're ethnicity, and they didn't have a superstructure designed to destroy their wealth. We had the way we remember America versus the reality of how America actually developed is two very different things. America developed with foot to neck on the Negro, well past slavery, and even into today through mass incarceration. So I think it is an unfair and it's not a realistic comparison for me to look at Jews versus blacks. If you were talking Jewish people versus Nigerians, a subsection that also came from a home country with the language, I can understand that. But we are a unique people in America with a uniquely different kind of struggle. So I think that what that does is it allows the system to sidestep why black folks are the way they are. But let's get back to it. The growing number of black celebrities, this is myth 9 in the report. Those people who have it, pick it up, and look at it. What we talk about is from Cosby Show to Michael Jackson's multi-platinum albums to Will Smith's meteoric rise to the present-day mega couple Jay-Z and Beyonce, black celebrity has masked black poverty rather than contributed to closing the racial wealth gap. This is kind of the dynamic of everything that we have going on. Is instead of giving us politics, instead of giving us resources, they gave us celebrity, and we ate it whole. And so now I think what we're running into is black celebrity is at its end. Think about this. When you look back to 96, for those people that were in their young prime, 27, 25 years old in 96, was you listening to Smokey Robinson in 96? If the Temptations came on at a club, was you dancing to it? What we have now is that we don't want to let go. I saw Puff Daddy dancing to Bobby Brown, a 30-year-old song on his Instagram. He have every right to do that. But at the same time, we have every right to understand that that's an older man dancing to a very old song. What we don't want to accept is that, One More Chance is 20-something years old. What we don't want to accept is it's time for black America to move on. And I don't think black celebrity, largely, which is 40-something and 50-something years old now, wants us to move on. And I look at this thing and I start to break it down and I start to understand the smoke signals are saying that black celebrity is struggling with wealth. Now, I don't know how bad that struggle is, and maybe it might come out, but they are struggling with wealth in a way that we haven't seen in 25 or 30 years. When you see layoffs and tax bills and running from the court, what do you think? If you had somebody in your life that had just those three issues, would it take them to actually show you their bank account to understand something is amiss here? So I look at myth 9 that we have, this black celebrity myth, and I start to understand that, as we say in the piece, black celebrity has largely been placed at the vanguard of an imagined black achievement of affluence. We frequently portray them as corporate owners. We got Magic Johnson with the Dodgers. We got Jay-Z with the Nets. We got Puff Daddy with Revolt and Ciroc. How much do they own? Let's take this caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Largo, Florida.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in. Give me your take on this thing, because we're going to get into it tonight.
Well, what I think is black celebrity has co-opted black politics.
Yep.
Because black celebrities have what we think is money. Nobody asked Steven Spielberg, okay, well, what do you think about the situation in Israel between the Israelis and the Palestinians?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's asking Steven Spielberg, well, what do you think about the Jewish politics?
I agree. Let me add to that. Let me add to that. We don't ask them. Well, we don't ask them, which we should be asking. Who'd you vote for? We didn't ask David Chappelle. Who did you vote for after he said? We didn't ask Puff Daddy after the pictures came out. Did you vote for Trump? That's all I want to know. And the reason why it's important is not only because of what Trump does to our community, but also because it's in their interest to get the big tax cut, right? They don't sit in the same boat as us wealth-wise. So we need to know where you stand, so we need to know, so we can know if we support you or not. Would you agree?
I agree, and exactly. And then you have these celebrities telling black people, well, you need to be like the Jews. Well, you know what? If I got reparations like the Jews, I could be.
Yes.
If I got white like the Jews in white politics, I could be.
Yeah.
No one says that. No one says that to black people.
Well, let's go. Caller. Let's add in this part. If they got shut down like us, they will be like us.
Exactly.
See, like it's funny because I bring up Byron Allen in context of this discussion because he's relevant, and I don't think people understand that this man might be the richest descendant of slavery in America right now. I'm just telling y'all don't know. We don't know what the Weather Channel is really worth. We just know the man paid cash for it. But I've talked to him for like 100 hours, and I'm telling you right now, he was being shut out. And I'm saying to you, like, fundamentally, if he easily among the top two richest is him or Oprah celebrities in America. And he was saying, and the interview, you can go watch the whole interview. He's saying black people are in the middle of economic genocide. You'll never get a interview of Oprah that delves into the discussion that I had with Byron Allen that's on YouTube for free for you to watch. And I say this, and I say, understand that this is the man who was talking about buying landmark theaters, all of them. You can go Google it. Just 2 weeks ago, he was talking about buying all the landmark theaters. That's after he bought the Weather Channel. And I'm bringing this up in context of this discussion because at least he being honest and telling us behind the curtain that white folks is shutting us out. See, when you look over at Puff Daddy or Magic Johnson or Jay-Z or Oprah, we can't get no truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All we can't even get who you vote for. Like, at least just tell us that you voted for Trump. Just tell us, like, let us know. Or do you need to push black excellence while you vote for Trump? Or do you need to push a new tour while you vote for Trump? Now, I don't know how these people voted, but I'm just telling you, when I see a picture, it's worth 1,000 words. And so I look at the picture that I saw. You look at Kanye West. Kanye West, I'm pretty sure, voted for Trump most likely. Let's get real. You know what I'm saying, caller? How do you feel? Mary the singer. I think she came out and said something about voting for Trump. How do you feel about black celebrities asking for black dollars while they vote for Trump?
I feel like this. Black celebrities, they may be black in skin color, but they are still rich. They're not living around poor black people, and what are rich people? Their politics are conservative. Their politics are the dominant, and those politics are going to they're going to take care of themselves. They're not worrying about you. No one, like I say, no one tells poor white people. And then what also, black celebrity is used against us. No one tells poor white people, what you mad about? You fine. 85% of the Congress looks like white rich men. You okay? What you mad about? Why can't you pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
How we gonna do that with no bootstraps? Thank you so much for calling, caller.
Exactly.
Oh, she just gave me so much there. This is the thing, though. I come back to Kanye and Charlemagne walking on this Lord of the Rings set. and what's a trip is that everybody was like, Kanye got money except for rich white folks. They knew that was the Lord of the Rings set. He ain't doing nothing with that hill with grass on it. For us to see that and see potential shows how limited our vision is, our exposure is. There's a reason a white person ain't developed that already. And you're telling me a guy who can't get a fashion line going, that's in debt, is about to develop what looks like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of development with no kind of experience in doing it. We got to stop believing in the hype. We got to start looking at the numbers. So since I'm asking you to do that, let me share with you an article that came out about Kanye West. You can go Google it yourself. Kanye West, $53 million in debt explained. On the off chance you missed it, Kanye West, released, this is an older article again, when he talked about being in debt, $53 million. He got honest. He since deleted those tweets. So you pretty much believe them tweets. He said social media industrial complex went into overdrive because he said that he was $53 million in debt. Well, what's great about this article is it kind of explains the context of how he went in debt. The over-leveraged rap icon's state of affairs is a reflection of the brutally difficult fashion business, an industry that requires significant upfront costs and can promise little in return. Despite a growing popular appreciation of his designs, West has learned the realities of the industry the hard way. In 2009, he put all of his musical endeavors aside to work on his label Pastel, which then shuttered after 7 months. Add to that however much it cost to create his line of good merchandise, GOD, marketed to fans of his record label. He was chewed up and spit out for his attempt at a high-end women's wear called Kanye West in 11. The line never made it to stores. According to a 2013 interview from Jean Tito, the founder of the French line APC, which created capsule collections with West, the experiment put the rapper out $30 million. His collaboration with Nike on the wildly popular Nike Air Yeezy sneakers did not stem the losses. West has said he was not given a percentage of sales, a sticking point that eventually caused him to defect to Adidas. In his first season, West told BET he went $16 million in debt getting his line off the ground. Oh, man. The thing that starts to happen is because, the shine is so bright, the diamonds are so glistening, we don't really understand the context of how black celebrity needs white wealth to survive. We don't understand that black celebrity, by and large, is filled up with black people who don't have advanced degrees. Some of them aren't even high school educated. I think Jay-Z is one of those. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a definite prerequisite, but I like to see our black people that are going to be in the room with Hillary Clinton or with Barack Obama be a college grad if it was my choice. Now, what I start to see is a overall reality that we can't see the smoke signals. It's like all this smoke is in the air and we just see clear skies. When Kanye ended his interview walking through this fashion line with all these weird clothes on the wall in the middle of a house and then walked us out on this hill, understand, he didn't show us no lumber. He didn't show us no architectural designs. He didn't show us no equipment, bringing the new stuff up. He just said, I bought all this, and I believe to give it all back. Right now, I think what we're seeing is the beginning of Black America, a black celebrity telling America, there ain't enough here for us. I think that what we got to start understanding is who should we follow and why should we follow them? Now, I'm not saying there aren't some good black celebrities out there. This is not about good and bad right now. This is about dealing with what did they tell us in the 80s versus the reality of 2018. What did the arrival of Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby and Oprah Winfrey signal to America about black folks and black folks being post-racial and even Barack Obama versus the reality of 2018 in your family's bank account? And what I start to see is that we are struggling, they are struggling, and we all need to start having everybody understand it's not enough. When Donald Glover does the This Is America video, the context of the dance, the bread and circus, the dance that happens in front of the shootings and the violence and the killings and the poverty. How long we gonna dance? I look over at Ice Cube. Ice Cube has this league. He starts this league, and it comes out yesterday that Ice Cube sold it to us as black owned. It's gonna be different than the NBA, and for so long, so many black, why don't the NBA players get together and buy their own league? Well, it came out that Ice Cube took money from the Qatar government, the same Qatar government that started Al Jazeera, the same Qatar government, that we saw. Let me take a breath here. The reality is, Ice Cube just signaled to us that we don't have enough, and that black celebrities didn't have enough, and all these old basketball players didn't have enough. They needed the Qatar government. The Qatar government came up with $20 million. They only paid $7 on the 20, but it wasn't even about the league. We paying to get to Steve Bannon or some other weird stuff. Came out that the co-CEO of the league is a white man, which I don't have no problem with, but it's supposed to be black owned and black run. Let's get the caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Boston.
Oh, how are you doing?
Beantown.
Yeah, and your name?
Vicky.
Oh, thank you for calling in. What's your take on this whole black celebrity as a decadent veil and a cover? I'm looking to get opinions here.
I think it's a blessing that the end of the black celebrity, because I think black celebrity has had our community fooled for so many years. We think because somebody has fancy cars, they're on magazine covers, for the Fortune magazines, putting these big, huge, fancy numbers behind their names. People are introducing them by doing the best promos, that's all real. And if you notice a lot of really wealthy people, you'll never know. You'll never know. We have this belief that if you're wealthy in Black America, you made it by having a lot of material stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real, a lot of the stuff is rented. These rappers rent cars, they rent jewelry, they rent stuff. And with Kanye West, who in my regard is a very successful rapper, can't even get his fashion label off the ground, that should be telling us something.
I agree. It's funny because the only reason I know, people be like, how you know Byron the billionaire? Because he told me, and I put it in the article. Explain why. Like, I'm not guessing. And it's funny because I talk to people who never talked to somebody and is using Fortune magazine or Forbes magazine. They don't know. All they doing is guessing. They don't really know. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's not a lot of black. When you look at Tracee Ellis Ross, she was getting $100,000 an episode for Blackish, right?
I thought you were getting
80, 100. But we in the ballpark. Understand? Katie Kuko from Big Bang Theory or whatever, she was getting $2 million an episode, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm starting to see is we don't understand that that's the best lead black actress on a show other than Scandal on all the TV on a major network, and that's what she's getting. Look, when you look at, our young women, I want to be an actress, right? How many? I want to be an actress, and I live in Chicago, so I'm gonna move to LA. Did you see the Washington Post article about Halle Berry's agent, Kamuchi or whatever his name is? Did you get a chance to see that?
Was a sexual allegation?
Oh my! Did you see what he was doing? The system that they were alleging? That's what we're gonna say. Where young black actresses were sold on, you got to be a concubine. You got to be a concubine to get in this field and come through me. And I built Halle Berry and Taraji. I built them. Understand that. Do you want to do that profession? Do you want to?
Why would you want that profession?
Do you want a person who?
Profession.
Yeah. Do you want a person who went through that system to speak for you when Hillary Clinton comes around? You had Mary J. Blige. Did you see her singing to Hillary Clinton? No, when a boy is shot down.
I'm sorry.
Oh my! When a boy is shot down in the street, and Hillary Clinton sitting there, the lady who came up with Super Predator, and you singing this to her. I'm saying all this to say, black celebrity has been falling apart for some time, and now we got to start seeing the smoke signals. We got to start.
You know what, Tone?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to cut you off. I won't be too long. I have to go. You know what, Tone? We're so fooled by who's on TV and how they make us feel that we don't think. We get caught up in our feelings too much as black people. I feel great. I'm happy there's black people, person on television. I'm happy this person on magazine. They make me feel so good about myself. We gotta get real.
Yeah.
We gotta get real. Why these celebrities make us feel good about ourselves is because we don't have nothing. We perceive that the closer they are to white people in wealth and high incomes, that they have something. A lot of them don't have anything.
I mean, look at
actors are not paid that well.
Let me add before you go. Let me ask you. Let me throw one more to you. Lil Kim comes out just yesterday, I think. Her mansion, her supposedly $1 million mansion in New Jersey, they sold it for $100 at auction, right? But a couple weeks ago, she was showing on Instagram her big backyard and her kids playing. So some young woman like yourself, I'm not saying you, would go on Instagram and see a piece of her life and think, I want to be a celebrity. I want to be Lil Kim. You don't know what goes on in her house.
We also don't know as a group of people how much of the cost is. Kanye West thought he was accepted by white people. He got his rude wake-up call. You're not.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, I don't want to hold you. I know you got to run. I appreciate you calling in.
I think that a $2 million home is nothing to get, but most people can't afford a $2 million home in America.
And the upkeep, and the garden, and all that. Yeah.
I think it's sad that we look at these celebrities and we think, we can attain that too, but we can't get there. We have to get real about our lineage. We got to get real about who we are. We got to get real about the numbers. And unfortunately, no one has ever really looked into these people's bank accounts and asked the hard questions. Do you have a high income, or are you wealthy? I don't think Oprah's a billionaire. Yeah. I never thought she was a billionaire, and I'm not going to think she's a billionaire. I have not seen her bank account anymore. I've seen my neighbors.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in. So, guys, the audience, I want to go back to this Lil Kim thing, and then I'm going to go to break. This is the article. Bidding for Lil Kim's New Jersey mansion starts at $100. Rap royalty Lil Kim is finally out from underneath the mansion in Alpine, New Jersey that provided her with years of troubling litigation and drama after falling into foreclosure in 2010. Now the sprawling home is up for auction. Starting bid on Queen Bee's former estate, a measly $100, which is a pretty steep discount, considering the home was most recently assessed to be worth more than $3 million. Alpine, a posh suburb just 15 miles from Manhattan, is one of the wealthiest zip codes in the country. Kim, whose legal name is Kimberly Jones, paid $2.3 million for the home back in 2002. Last May, a judge ruled that the rapper was in default. As a result, the home is being auctioned off. As recently as October, Kim posted adorable videos of her 3-year-old daughter, Royal Rain, learning to ride a bike at the Alpine home. I mean, we saw the picture, but we didn't get to understand that she was in foreclosure or whatever she was when we saw the picture. We got to stop judging ourselves based on people's projection of who they are. We got to stop judging ourselves. I'm saying this to you because what we see right now is black celebrity is falling apart. And on the other side, I'm going to get to your boys, Sean and Sean. You know, Sean Combs and Sean Combs and Jay-Z. I'm going to get to them on the other side of this break. Let's take this commercial. Dash Radio, Dash Talk. We'll be right back. What up, y'all? We back. So, I'm about to talk about the Seans. Sean Combs and Sean Carter. Better known as Jay-Z and Diddy Love. Diddy Love, whatever y'all want to call this man. So, you know, in our report, Myth 9, you can check it out on page, for those people that have a copy, 47 and 48. We kind of talk about these dudes. Let me read a little section from the actual report. From Sean, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, who served as a profit participant with Ciroc, Irvin Magic Johnson, who admitted on HBO Real Sports to only investing $50 million into the $2 billion purchase of Major League Baseball's Los Angeles Dodgers, and Sean Carter with the NBA Brooklyn Nets, who was reported to be part of 100 owners of the team at one point by Vox Media, leading to the creation of what some call the Jay-Z rule being adopted by the NBA Board of Governors, where a team can have no more than 25 owners that each must at least own 1% of the team. So the Seans, the Seans have been masterful at this. One other section in the report is, as an example of not knowing how much corporate ownership these people have. According to Bloomberg article, Diageo turns to Dutch Diddy partnerships for vodka expansion about Ciroc. While Sean Combs has been held out as an owner of Ciroc, in actuality, according to this Bloomberg article, he's a profit participant whose main hand is in marketing, not producing or financing. So, at what point do we realize that the whole ownership thing that we've been sold on is just part of the sale? And I think that what we're seeing is part of the problem of having, these people play the front card for black folks that need a politics. I look at Sean Combs and this article that came out. Revolt Media and TV lays off 1/3 of staff in restructuring. This screams of, I don't know what I'm doing in TV, and also I don't got no bread, or I don't have the bread to do this. Revolt Media and TV is downsizing in an effort to reallocate resources and expand the scope of its content production operations. The company that operates the music-centric Revolt TV linear cable line is laying off about 50 employees, or 1/3 of its staff, across offices in New York and Los Angeles. I hope this isn't the black folks. Let me say this. Look, every black person gonna struggle in business. But stop telling us about black excellence when you struggling in business. We just seen you getting off a Learjet for Coachella. Why we got to see that and then see this? And then somebody would say, well, that's what Trump did. Well, we don't need another Trump. Black America don't need no black Trump. It needs Harry Belafonte, Lena Horne. It needs people who stand up and say, no, I want the proper and appropriate message to be pushed forward for our people. The reality of what you see with this is smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, I'm not saying I know what fire that is, but I am saying that there is fire. Again, Dash Radio, press the Dash Talk app. You can go to the YouTube channel, catch it streaming. 323-879-4445. I want to hear from you. Call in. The death of black celebrity. I think the arc of this thing took us, from, like I said earlier, Michael Jackson and Prince, mega stars. I mean, for those people that are too young, Michael Jackson used to get off in Beirut. They was about to have, a war. And Michael Jackson started singing and they just peaceful. He was a mega star. We don't even understand when Mike, I remember looking back at the charts when Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson and even Will Smith was big stars. We don't have a clear recollection that these people were so big that they used to sit on the charts literally at Tower Records as the number one seller for an album for 2 years. An album that's on the charts for 104 weeks in the top 5 slots. Because people was buying like 2 Thrillers and 2 Bads. People would buy a Bad, wear it out from playing it so much, and go get another one. Or they wanted one at the office and then they wanted one at the house because you couldn't burn CDs like that. And so and then don't forget about singles and all that when they started having the singles. I just, the reality of how big black stardom became is literally a shadow now. If you go back and look at the Grammys in the 90s, these people were in the front row. What no Adele? Let's take this caller. It wasn't no Adele. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Yes.
You gotta turn your background
Tracee
down.
Calling from North Carolina.
Okay. What's your take on this thing?
Yeah, definitely been keeping up with you, Tone, and I agree with everything. Basically, we've been asleep, and we just don't want to accept that we've been asleep. I got people that if you call them up and you diss a celebrity, I mean, you get your life threatened. Like, whoa, you don't even know that person.
Mm-hmm.
Why
They
are
invested.
you so invested in what they're doing, and they don't even know what they're doing. They're just running around in circles, doing whatever they're told to do, and you're too busy following them for what?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go home at the end of the day, your bills cannot be paid. You cannot even eat. And we've already pulled the numbers. I mean, how many numbers do you really got to pull? We have black Americans starving, kids who can't eat. It's not like somebody is just
trying to save up and get a better job so they can buy a new handbag or buy a new watch. It's not even about that anymore. We got people who have just gotten their situation so bad they can't even eat. And we're just sitting here still worried what a celebrity is doing.
And understand this. What's a trip is what an old celebrity doing. Understand that because of Twitter and Instagram, what almost happened is we got stuck in time. Look, when Smokey Robinson, I don't want to ask you your age on air, but I'm gonna ask you your age on air. How old are you?
32.
All right, you're 32. You're a little young, but so it's kind of hard. I need somebody that's like 48. But let me say this: if you was like,
I have an older mom. She's 60.
Yeah, but if you was like 25 and 95, and I said this earlier, and like Smokey Robinson was gonna do a tour, that was for your mama. You wasn't trying to see that, but
Right.
somehow Puffy has stuck us in 97. And I go back to the Telecom Act. I've explained this before. For those people that haven't looked it up, the Telecom Act of 96 was the hidden, it was one of the most unknown devastations that Bill Clinton did. We know about welfare. We know about mass incarceration, but we don't really know about the Telecom Act because what happened was black-owned radio was gutted. We used to have private black radio stations in Atlanta, in Louisiana, in Alabama, in LA. Well, you couldn't own more than 3 stations. So it was like black people might own that. But when the Telecom Act was passed, you could own unlimited. So then 2 companies came in and bought all of them up. But like whoever was hot in that moment in 97 stayed around now 20 years later, 30 years later, whatever it is, 20 years later. So like we're stuck in 97. Still dancing the Biggie.
We really are. We stuck. Let me tell you something, Tone. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. I'm 32. I've had jobs where I've worked at hotels. I've seen Keith Sweat, some of these old groups, Drew Hill. They be at random coliseums performing. I done seen them at fairs performing for free. I mean, and people are showing up just because, oh, I remember them from back in the day. For what? You wasting your time. They ain't even making money. They out here for free. They struggling. Mm-hmm. Why are you worried about what they're doing? And then they don't even really understand business like that. They really don't understand our economy like that. So they might see somebody like Monique and they might think, oh, it's a simple matter. Like they're not paying her what she deserves. But they're not seeing the bigger picture of how we've been locked out of so many opportunities. Like even if you do everything they tell you to do, you still could wind up in a struggling situation. And you sitting here focusing on the wrong things, you still not going to have in your own household. It's not going to matter if you have a job right now. You have income that hasn't even come yet. So you really don't even have it yet. You're just waiting on the next check and waiting on the next check and waiting on the next check. You can't live like that.
You can't build no wealth.
There's plenty of other white Americans not living like that. The numbers are there. When you see the bars on the federalreserve.org website, the bar for black people is so small.
You're right.
Like, it is just disgusting. And they're not talking about that. They got these headlines like it's just a quick flash news story. This is not a news story. We are talking about a national emergency.
You're right.
60% of black Americans in the top 10 cities where they have deep poverty, they're hungry. 60%.
And we got to worry about what Cardi B or what Beyonce got on at the Met Gala.
It got on. And we know that they ain't even paid for that. Somebody gave them that dress to put on to advertise.
Hold on. You gonna bring me
Come on.
to Jay-Z. Let me read something. I'm gonna leave you on the line while we do this. Jay-Z's title, his little streaming, has been accused of faking Kanye West and Beyonce's streaming numbers. Tidal, the subscription music service owned by Jay-Z and other artists, has been accused of faking the streaming numbers for 2 of its highest profile exclusive releases. Kanye West, The Life of Pablo, which was the first album supposedly to go platinum primarily from streaming, and Beyonce's platinum record Lemonade were released exclusively on Tidal by placing their albums on the fledgling platform. which was relaunched in 2015. West's album was said to have been streamed 250 million times in 10 days, and Beyonce's record was reportedly played 306 million times in 15 days. So what we have is we can't even believe what they doing because they fudging the numbers. Ain't that crazy?
And that's how deep the brainwashing really goes, Tone. Even when you look someone in the face and tell them that you are in fact the one lying to them, they will still tell you, no, you're not lying to me.
Yeah.
How brainwashed can you be? They're telling you something.
Yeah,
okay,
smoke.
They know what they're doing. They're not making money. Everything that Jay-Z had owned, he's already sold. So how is he making money? Because nobody is checking for his music anymore. He knows that. Look how quickly they hopped on to Cardi B. It only took people one day to be down for Cardi B. So they was not checking for Jay-Z like that.
And caller, let me jump in here. This is the thing. What I'm saying right now is there's a reason that we got to be aware because we about to hit this corner. Black celebrity is largely going to disappear. Like when I say disappear, I don't think they're going to die out.
No.
But I think that what's going to happen is that you're going to see many of them start to go bankrupt and struggle. And I don't want your psyche to fall apart because you set your image of yourself inside of a celebrity instead of inside of yourself. Understand that Black America in this country has less than 2% of the wealth. Understand that in this country, the middle Black family is worth $1,400. Understand that your primary concern in this country needs to be how you going to stabilize and feed your family and how they're going to stabilize and feed the next generation. You can't do that if you scrolling through Instagram worried about what problems Jay-Z and Beyonce have in their house. You can't do that if you worried about whether Mary J can pay her bills and how her wedding going or how her divorce going. I need for us to understand that we got so invested as an escape in dealing with Black celebrities' problems that we forgot our own. We hid from our own. You know what I'm saying, caller?
We out there chucking and jiving with them. We sitting here, we quick to point out and say, oh, look at what the celebrity is doing. Look at what you're doing. You out there doing the same crap. You got to dress like them. You got to put on the chains like them. You got to have the grills like them. You got to act like them for no reason whatsoever. You're talking about you don't care about the next generation. Well, you have to because, see, I have to tell my own daughter, you have to understand 20 years before I was born, that's when Malcolm X is getting killed. So this stuff is not no long time ago. We are talking about real problems that we had in this country recently that have gotten worse. And it's starting to affect us now. This is no longer, this is something that happened. It's old. We don't have to worry about it anymore. No. Now we're starting to see the effects of all that slavery. It's not just going to go away. How did you think a 400-year-old problem was just going to go away? Because you want to look at what Jay-Z is doing or what Puff Daddy is doing. And they ain't even doing nothing but killing each other. All you hear about is another one of them dead.
Yeah, man.
Why? Why are you trying to be involved in that? They ain't making no money. And you ain't making no money. You seen the curve. We way down there. That's not one of two Black Americans. That's all of them.
Let me jump in here, caller. I appreciate you. You lit my line up. I think my line's on fire. Thank you so much for calling in.
Because they need to make sure they share your video and donate and make sure we keep this mission going because this is a critical issue. This is an emergency situation. We got people starving, and we need to stop going to other countries and worry about what's going on right here. If you know you got family members starving, then give them some food. Stop trying to worry about what is the solution. The solution is walk down the road and get these people some food. People are starving.
I agree. So look, Artie. Thank you. No, thank you. Let me say this. What? Let me shout out Dash Radio, Dash Talk. Zoe Williams, support his show. Because what we seeing right now is what you guys got to understand. I just brought up the Telecom Act and Black-owned radio stations. Monday through Friday and even Saturday was all music, but Sunday was talk. That's where Black folks got to talk to each other. I'm going to take another caller and put him on hold. Let me finish my point. So we got to talk about our problems. Well, we're going to use YouTube and Dash Radio to talk. We're going to start building ourselves up. We're going to take away their power over the normal radio stations and use satellite radio. You got to understand, this is streaming right now. Might be streaming to 1 million people. Yeah, you be watching on YouTube. We chatting, but we streaming as well. We going on satellite radio. This is important. This is the discussion that needs to happen on a nightly basis for us to build up and grow. Let's take this next caller. Let's turn down the background. Hello, caller?
Tell me what's up.
You got to turn the background down.
I'll turn it down.
All right, cool. Look, caller, I'm gonna let you in here, but before I let you in here to let loose on your opinion, let me read this article. Let me read this craziness, and I want you to know if this was your bro, what you would think is going on with him. Jay-Z continued to dodge testimony after not showing up in federal court for the SEC. It shouldn't even be surprising at this point, but Jay-Z has once again failed to show up to testify in court after being subpoenaed not once but 3 different times. The subpoenas were in response to an investigation being conducted by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the boys that don't play, over a purchase of $200 million worth of Rockaware assets by Iconics brand group back in 2007. The judge presiding over the court is tired of having to deal with Jay-Z constantly ditching the summons. This testimony has been delayed for 5 months. If your bro was running from federal court like that, what would you think?
My opinion, if he's running from federal court, he's running from just an overall problem.
Yeah.
And it's an overall problem. I think we put a lot of power into somebody like Jay-Z. And I got into an argument with some friends at the barbershop. I said, you know what? When you really look at Jay-Z, how are they really making money besides a bunch of licensing agreements? You know, I'm not. You know,
you gotta feed that alligator.
You got like a bunch of licensing agreements. You don't have an actual business. And like I was trying to tell him that. Like I was like, watch. There's a company in Ohio, and this may be getting off the tangent. It's called Anderson and Dubois. It's a black-owned distribution company for McDonald's. The reason why that guy got a company is because basically McDonald's used affirmative action and gave that guy that company in the 90s for some diversity. And I can remember reading that article. That company did $600 million in sales. You would never hear much from him and somebody with money like that. And I was telling my friends that, and they think that we build this stuff from ground up. I worked for a transportation company, and I got into the tail end of affirmative action in the 90s.
Government programs, contracts, get them.
Yeah. And I was telling people that. And I was trying to tell some of my friends that, and when it comes to terms of black people, we don't want to admit that there's a guy right now, he's a rapper I'm in small town Ohio. He talks that, and this is crazy. And I don't want to say his name, but I seen him paying with a food stamp card, and been talking about he's got $1 million. And people don't realize that what's going on in America. I think I emailed you before. In the Midwest, and nobody will tell you this, if you're a black person in the suburbs and you're going to sell your house, they're going to tell you take all the black effects down, your black pictures. Nobody talks about that and all that. Nobody tells you that right now. I had 2 homes. I lost one in foreclosure. I moved in with my sister. And right now, my niece and other sister in my condo in Columbus, in Ohio, they're renting off me. We don't talk about, like, after the housing crisis, how many of us right now are living with family members?
Cohabitated living.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we do talk about? You know what we do talk about? The
What?
MetLife Gala. We talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce on tour, and it only took 3 minutes for them to sell the tickets. And the tickets was $450. And I got my ticket in the front row. We talk about what? We talk about, Puff Daddy on Instagram, he said he gonna buy the Panthers. And he know that y'all gonna share that, and he know he can't buy the Panthers. We are in
We know that. And
go ahead.
I told some friends that. I said, you know what, man, let's get serious. I'm not being mean. I'm not being nasty. A loan on $3 billion. Let's say that Panthers, they had that $3 billion. Let's say Puffy's worth $6. Do you know what the interest on that loan is going to be compared to like the family who's like the Family Dollar? They can cash that property out. They can cash that team out. And with us, we don't look at stuff like that. Like I was trying to tell one of my friends that we were talking about that, and like we were talking about like here in like Ohio, like when you talked about baby boomers and stuff like that. How many of my parents' house is paid for? They're deceased, but that people of era of blacks, their houses are paid for. The era of Generation X coming behind them are mainly renters. And I'm trying to tell my friends that they're talking these big dreams, and they may have nice cars, but they're getting cars off the A&X plan because they either work for GM or their parents or family members work for GM, so you get a little discount. But we have this veil, I do agree, and even here in the Midwest, that if you see a house, let's say if you got pre-approved. I had a friend. He got pre-approved. The house, he got pre-approved for like a $90,000 loan. He don't want a $90,000 house. He wants the $500,000 house, which you can't buy. And which they're doing to us here in the Midwest is like they're gentrifying all these cities, Cleveland, Detroit, Columbus, Ohio. It's like they're pushing us south. And I was like reading, it's called something you need to read. It's The Father of Geography, Von Thunen.
Caller, let me break in here. I don't mean to cut you down, but I got to start wrapping the show up a bit. And I wanted to tell you, let me say this. I see what you're saying. And I think part of the veil, part of what's happening is that black wealth has been cast in the image of Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the Cosby Mansion, Michael Jackson and Bubbles. You remember Bubbles? You know, all black people have done is just believed and they believe they can achieve. Prince's Mansion. What we gonna have to start realizing is that you're gonna start seeing more and more black people that's gonna struggle. You're gonna start seeing more and more black celebrities that's gonna struggle. And if we don't start understanding that struggle isn't necessarily our fault, that it's built in, that it's baked in for Kanye West to fail at that housing project that he's trying to build. Understand that he don't understand that you never was going to have a fashion line. They built it this way. Now, government, like you just pointed out, great example, can protect us and make it more fair. We got to advocate for politics instead of black celebrity. I want to say I appreciate you calling in. I'm going to let you go now. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tone Talks. You know, tonetalks.org to subscribe and donate. Dash Radio, press the Dash Talk app. We're doing this every Friday. I may take off next Friday. I apologize for that, but I'll be right back a week after that. Thank you. Tone Talks is out.
Thank you for tuning in to Tone Talks.